everybody, welcome back to A&R Black Hats. I, of course, am SlySquid.
I am Glitch. This is going to be our very special Order and Chaos spoilers review, first, second, third thoughts.
Hybrid-y kind of.
Timey-wimey stuff. This is just going to be us talking about what we think of the cards from the spoilers. People have been requesting like a review sort of video, but we're not a giant fan of doing like reviews.
Yeah.
You can get reviews lots and lots and lots of different places. Everybody does reviews. We just want to do like our reactions to cards.
And there's probably better players that could review cards.
Way better players than us. Way better players than us. We get excited over like some of the worst cards sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes.
We get super excited over them. Sometimes it pans out. Most of the time it doesn't pan out. But you know, being as how this is the Wayland and Anarchs big box, and I'm a Wayland guy.
I'm an Anarch guy.
We figured we should probably just shoot a video where we talk about our favorite stuff.
Yeah.
The spoilers have been out for a while now. A lot of people have been able to see them. If you haven't looked at them, you're avidly trying to avoid them, stop the video now.
Absolutely.
Because we are going to be talking about cards and in depth. And if you really don't want to hear about it, then sorry, this video is not for you. So, the day that the spoilers got released.
I kind of pooed a little.
Yeah, we both kind of pooed a little. Immediately, just started getting super excited. You were asleep when they first went up, so like I'm avidly texting you and hoping you would wake up. I'm just like, dude, shit, oh my god. Like, I was losing my mind and just reading the Wayland stuff, and then I scrolled down to Anarchs, and I was like, holy shit, Chase is gonna love this! And like trying to wake him up, he's had like 3 hours of sleep at this point. I knew he had gone to bed because he's like, I'm going to bed, man, I'm tired, I'll talk to you like later on. But he had to know. And like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock rolls around, and you wake up and you're like, holy fuck! Like, you were so excited, and I'm like, right? What about like Titan Transnational? You're like, I haven't even looked at the Wayland stuff.
Yeah, I haven't.
I didn't care. Like, look
as
at
soon as it came up, I was like, scroll down. Fuck all that jazz. I'll play it when I play it.
Yeah, and like, we were just going back and forth and not caring what the other person had said. You're like, holy shit, look at Steel Skin. And I was like, yeah, but holy shit, look at Builder.
Yeah.
Like, it was really funny. But now we've had some time to proxy some stuff.
Fully process the information, not like children.
Yeah, not like we're excited over every card. I have built a Titan Transnational deck, proxied it, played it a bunch of times. That ID is just insane. For anyone who doesn't know, it's a 45-17. And the ability is whenever you score an agenda, place an agenda counter on that. Which, oh my god, that is one extra Atlas token every single time. That is one extra geothermal fracking token every time. That's just talking about some of the stuff that already comes into play with tokens. Like you do the double over advance Atlas, you get a third one for free. It's a buy two get one free. It's great.
It's fucking insane. Like I don't know.
You get to put them onto everything, and sometimes that doesn't quite stick out to people. Like you can play a hostile takeover out of hand. You can put an agenda counter on that, and while it doesn't do anything on the card right there, teamed up with Mark Yale, which is it's an asset. It reses for 1, trashes for 3. It says that whenever you spend an agenda counter, you gain a credit. It then has an extra piece that says you can either spend an agenda counter or trash it and gain 2 credits. Right there, hostile takeover nets you 10 credits. 10. Let that sink in for a second.
Now that's
10 credits.
You 10 credits.
Plus turns on Archer. Plus keeps you an extra point. like nuts, absolutely crazy. And that's just a little bit. Like I was going off of that.
We should say too, the deck that you built plays like a fast advance deck.
It plays like it plays like your typical Wayland. You do rush that can then transition into a fast advance. Transitions into fast advance using sands and Trick of Lights. The Trick of Lights are used with the new advanceable ice, which we're calling, what is it, the Constellation Ice? Is that what we're calling it? The Constellation? Whatever. There's Asteroid Belt, Nebula, Wormhole, and Orion.
I love Wormhole and Orion. Those cards, like, I haven't figured out. Like, right now I'm all about Nisi Division, and I haven't really been thinking about how to, like, work those new cards into a Jinteki deck or anything like that. But just the idea of, like setting off other subroutines is just, it's like, it's making me happy. I don't even know.
It's just so freaking cool. It's so cool. Now, for everyone who doesn't know, I'm not going to go through each piece of those ice, but all of them have, they can be advanced, so Wormhole, Nebula, and Asteroid Belt all cost 9 to res. Orion costs 15 to res. However, for every advancement token that's on it, the res cost lowers by 3. So with the first 3, not Orion, you do the install advance. When you res it, it costs you 3 to res. Just doing that.
It's insane.
And they're all high strength.
We haven't even touched on the cards that could, like, just give it advancement tokens. Like, what's that new one? Worker, I think it is.
Builder can do it. There's a whole bunch of new stuff that's in there that just either moves the advancement tokens around or gives things advancement tokens. They're bringing that back.
They did a very good job of making these new advanceable ice obviously good on their own, which is really good.
Yeah.
But they're also just bonkers in whatever the fuck that I can't even remember it because nobody plays it.
Because we built it?
Because we built it.
Yes.
So they're absolute bonkers in that. And it's just like now we have, I mean, obviously this big box alone spawns like 3 or 4 new kind of deck archetypes.
Yep.
Or at least just like reinvigorates, like super modernism. I read like a hyper modernism deck.
Sorry.
And it's, I don't know, it's gonna just breathe so much life into all these old decks that were kind of teetering off. Maybe I don't want to say that Wayland was bad because
it was stale. That was the problem with it. Is it just got stale because the card pool essentially stayed the same. They kept giving them new cards, but they didn't do anything for the faction. That was the problem. And now it's breathing some new life into it. Not only boosting some of the stuff it used to do, but creating new archetypes like what I'm trying to do with the fast advance sort of thing. The Scorch Kill is still in there. It's just great. Like, and I mean, you started working on your Anarchs immediately.
I built a max deck. Like I do almost all my decks. I kind of have like this janky idea, and just all the pieces came together. It's like all these cards that I originally really, really liked the idea of that weren't really valid, like Quest Completed and Singularity. Like I love the idea of Singularity. It sounds like such a destructive card. I had it in my arena deck when I was playing it, and I was just like, okay, there's no real place for this. It's really expensive. I can't pull it off that often. But they just found a way with this big box to, like, I mean, invigorate everything. Yeah,
it's great. And like Singularity was one of those cards that I'm not a big Anarch guy, but I saw that card and I was like, wow, that has some potential. And I remember just every once in a while I'd be like toying with decks and I would shoot you a text and be like, what do you think of Singularity? And you're like, doesn't quite do enough right now. Yeah. Doesn't quite do enough. We both saw the potential, but at the time didn't do very much. And I mean, you threw it in this deck and it's devastating.
It's a monster. So
devastating support.
I'd say that the MVP of this deck is Eater. Eater is on everybody's mind. Eater basically fuels all of the new archetypes that everybody's coming up with. There's there's the whole utensil set. So just eating and having the utensils is just insane. So I'm talking like forked, spooned, and knifed. itself, like, I don't think anybody has actually, like, just built a deck, because it's almost like you just know it's going to be good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, nobody has to build the deck, because the deck exists. There's Eater and the utensils. Everything else is just, like...
There's Eater. Yeah. That's it. The deck is Eater. Eater.deck.
Yeah.
And it's that good. Now, for anyone who doesn't know what Eater does, I'll let you do it.
So, it installs for 3. It's 1 memory. 4. Yeah,
so
4. It's 1 memory, and it comes in with 2 strength, and it can break... It's an AI, obviously, so it can break any subroutines. And it's pay 1 to break per subroutine, but if you use it during a run, you access 0 cards. Now, that doesn't mean you don't access cards. That means you access 0 cards.
It's not an access replacement.
Yes. Okay. So, as long as you don't care about necessarily accessing the cards in a traditional sense, then it opens up a lot of plays, like...
Such as?
So, what would you say is an ice or an icebreaker that you put in almost every deck? I would say, like, Corroder. Probably that deck.
Mimic.
Okay, so now you're paying $2 extra to have a Corroder that breaks anything.
Yeah.
Okay? And now let's say that they can't stop you from, I don't know, account siphoning them over and over and over again.
Over and over and over and over and over again.
Keyholing them over and over and over again, because you don't access cards with keyhole. Instead of accessing, you get to mill cards with keyhole. Instead of accessing, you get to
steal 5 credits.
Instead of accessing,
destroy their hand.
You get to blow up their server. If you have account siphon, keyhole, and quest completed, you can account siphon them, keyhole a card in their archives, run their archives, steal the card, and then quest completed the card that they're trying to do.
Yeah.
I know that's a personal feat for me, because I made Glitch over here want to fucking flip the table on me.
I rage quit that one.
You totally rage
There was literally nothing I could do that game.
I felt like you had like this epiphany, and I saw it in my head, because that's why I put quest completed in the deck, and you're like, I know. I'm just gonna fucking score out.
Just rush it out. You can't access it. and he's like, run, quest complete your Project Atlas. And I was like, done.
I'm done.
I'm done this game. Just done. Like, everything I tried setting up that game, you just tore down. And it was all thanks to riding on Eater.
Yeah. So I immediately gravitated towards Eater. The card that I didn't see, like... I saw it spoiled earlier than all the other ones was Max.
Yeah.
Now, Max is a scary bitch. Like, let's just fucking...
Yeah. Yeah.
So when you read her initially, your balls kind of clench up and you're like, ooh, get rid of 2 cards? You're like, that doesn't sound that great.
Now, she is a 45-15.
Yeah, standard.
Her ability is, at the beginning of every turn, put the top 2 cards of your stack into your heap, then draw a card. Right there... Your initial reaction to that is probably, ooh, I'm milling 2 of my cards.
Yeah.
Those are 2 cards that aren't going to ever go into my hand. And you're right. Like, that was both of our initial reactions. And, of course, SlySquid is the kind of guy who's like, I need to play with every one of these cards. Edward Kim was probably the bottom of the list for you with those 3 IDs. But Valencia was the top originally.
Yeah, Valencia was my...
When she got spoiled originally, you were like... That's the way Anarchs is going to get
I'm going to butcher the name, but it's Itinerant Protesters. Protesters.
No, you're good.
And that was the card that I thought was going to change the game. Like, when I saw that, I was like, oh my god, it's going to bottleneck the
shut up about that card.
And then, like, Valencia gives you the bad pub, and then there's fucking... And then I came up with this, like, it was, like, weeks later that I noticed that, investigative journalism, like, you didn't have to have the bad pub to use it. So at first I was like, oh, well, they'll just wipe the bad pub and then I'll be fucked. And I was like, no, I know if somebody's going to use that, then just first turn I'll just bomb them out and I'll keep them there.
Yeah.
So now not only do they have to burn the bad pub, but they also have to burn my fucking investigative journalism before I can pop them off. Because the only requirement is you have to have a bad pub to play it, not to use it. So it's like you're always going to have that influx.
Yeah.
And then, like, so I built that deck.
Now, before we go on from this, before anybody flames us for when we're saying you're just going to burn the bad publicity, we know you can't just pay to do it. we were thinking there was going to be like an influx of like Elizabeth Mills is going to start showing up in decks, and Witness Tampering, which is randomly going to start showing up and whatever. Just to put that out there, right?
Yeah, because at the end of the day, like, everybody was worried that Valencia was going to be just what's the run card? Blackmail. It was going to be a blackmail spin, right?
Yeah.
And then we got boot camp, so that kind of cut that down, and then you're like, okay, so you're going to have to build an actual deck now. And it's like, well, okay, well, we still have Eater, so we're still fine.
Yeah.
And then like, the other epiphany was, like, this guy came on Netrunner DB, and I'm sorry I don't remember your name, but he's like, this seems really cool, and I like where you're at. It was the Valencia dinner party. That's the one that I built. And, or SlySquid's dinner party, whatever. It's dinner party something. And he's
your
just
name is always at the front of every one of your decks. It's SlySquid's a certain title here, yeah.
So he's like, I like your idea, but I think it's a little convoluted. Wouldn't it just be cool if you just use Valencia's power as like free Desperado every time? And then I was like, yeah, and you could have Desperado. And I was like, oh my god, this
you can use your ability as Desperado and have Desperado as a Desperado. Yeah, you're double down.
Yeah, so that was amazing. So everything to do with her is amazing. I kind of put her on the back burner because I built the dinner party deck and I built the motherfucking deck almost the same time. And they're both kind of janky ideas in my opinion, and they're like how I build decks. I have this idea, I'm like, okay, so for my max deck, I want all the cards to go in the archives or my heap, and I'm going to get Eater out, and I'm just going to access the cards that I need to punish specific servers at what time I need. So it was more like I didn't feel like it was going to be like super aggressive. I didn't feel like it was going to control the game a lot. I was just going to like kind of do my own thing, and then just like my initial thought was I'm just going to snipe specific things and then always threaten the keyhole. And then I played you.
I remember before we go into how it actually worked out, I remember you looked at my Titan Transnational deck. For anyone who wants to take a look at my initial build, it's if you go into Netrunner DB, it's called Gods Among Us. You looked at that initial deck, you looked at your max deck, and you're like, fuck me. Like, this is going to be an uphill battle. I'm going to lose so bad, but hopefully I get that one game in that really works out for me. We sat down, you looked at me with just the dread in your eyes of, great, Glitch is back on Wayland. Yeah. My life is going to be a living hell now. And then what happened in our 4 games?
I would say that I not only beat you, but utterly slaughtered you.
Utterly destroyed.
I mean, you're my best friend, dude, but I kicked your fucking ass.
My spirits were so low.
There was the one point.
I won. We played, 5 games? I won 1 of them. And entirely based on your mistake.
Yeah, and it was just because I pushed my luck, and I was like, what are the odds that he's going to be able to Scorch kill me? So instead of drawing, I made one more
card.
Run. All I needed to do was
one
draw.
Card. He and we 3
made,
cards in hand.
And I told him right before I did it, I was like, I could draw right now and be safe from the Scorch, but I'm gonna. I think it was our second game, and my mind is like, I'm gonna play Max like I would envision Max being played. I'm gonna go fucking balls to the walls. And then he scorched me, and I was like, okay, so I'm gonna pull it back a little bit, and then I was unstoppable.
Yeah. Actually, I think your first remark was, I just hit you with an account siphon, so I think I'm pretty safe from Scorch right now.
Yeah.
Because in your head, and in most people's heads, when you think Scorch kill, you think of Seasource, Scorch. You think of the double Scorch, right? Until you're like, so instead of drawing the card, I think I'm pretty safe, I'm going to make this run. Mm-hmm. And then once you pass the turn, it got to my turn, you're like, I looked up at you, and you're like, shit, he only needs 1, and I went credit, Scorch.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, I know I shouldn't have done that, next game's going to be different. And then next 3 games just humiliated me. Until the 5th game where I was like, okay, I need to play this up a little bit different, so I'm playing it as a rush rather than a fast advance. I tried that, he still disassembled it, and I'm like, I'm done.
But that was the best, because you hadn't seen the quest completed until
hadn't
then.
At all.
Like, I'm milling 2 cards every turn, and you had no idea it was there, and then I just pull it out of my hand. And the best part was I could either singularity it, which in my mind I thought you might expect, and then I was like, that's not fun, I don't want to fucking mill it, I want to take it, because in my mind, if I over question it, if we played again and you're like, fuck it, I'm gonna bluff a trap from the quest completed, then I'd be like, fuck it, I'll singularity it out of play.
Yeah.
But then I was so 100% positive that it was an actual agenda, and I knew that you'd freak out. And then you look at me and you're like, I'm not gonna lie, man, I am not having fun at all. And then I looked at him, I was like, is it bad that I'm having a lot of fun right now?
Yeah.
So a couple other cards that I use in that deck, and so Eater is Eater's my boy. Like, Eater is gonna be like, if you could ask this guy, all my decks are AI built around.
Oh yeah,
I love AIs.
Yeah,
I've run 3 Knights, and like I know David's technically not an AI, but I don't care what anybody says. It breaks all the ice.
You used Crypsis. Yeah. You piloted Darwin in Criminals for the longest time.
I
love AI.
championed Worm for a long ass time.
Oh man, you championed Worm for the longest time.
So
it wasn't, honestly, you championed Worm until I started to play Near Earth Hub, and we played a couple of games where I literally just shut you out with the Lotus Field.
Yeah.
I put it over top of my scoring server, and he was like, well, fuck me. Like, Worm needs to come out of this deck.
Yeah. I liked it because it could originally break, like, the small... We're not talking about Worm.
No.
We're not going to get on my Worm rant anymore.
It was building your character. That's what it was. It had nothing to do with Worm.
Yeah, exactly.
It had everything to do with SlySquid and how he likes shitty cards. Anyway.
Isn't it?
Worm is great. Worm is great.
So... Eater, again, it screams out. I am going to go on record and say it's the best AI breaker in the game. I don't care what anybody says. Atman's amazing. David's great. Knight's great. But Eater is literally the shit. It's everything you want in an AI. Granted, you don't want to access cards, or you can't access cards, but all the cards that you're going to be using, it's not like I'm putting in specific cards just because Eater has a flaw. It's like, this just unlocks all of those cards that originally weren't like super amazing, and it makes them all amazing now, and when they're all together they become fucking aggressive as all hell.
Now, so just so people
wait.
Oh, sorry.
That's all leading up. I'm sorry I lead to a tangent. Eater is amazing. Wanton Destruction is literally gonna blow the fucking meta up.
Yeah.
If you for one goddamn second thought that Account Siphon was overpowered, or you hated Account Siphon spam, or this is unfair, or I don't ever want to play against somebody who's using Account Siphon again, or Account Siphon is so powerful that I'm not going to use it out of spite, Wanton Destruction is worse.
So much worse. So much worse. What does Wanton Destruction do, sir?
So Wanton Destruction is a run event for 1, I'm pretty sure. I don't
1
know.
or 2? We can bring it up, but yeah.
It's dirt cheap. It doesn't cost much, so I'll talk about it. So instead of accessing cards,
1 measly frigging credit.
When you make a run, or you make a run on Archives, you initiate a run on HQ, sorry. And instead of accessing cards, you can lose X clicks, and you force the corp to trash X random cards from their HQ. Now, the random is the most important part. And at first I was like, cool, I'll just do this for 1 or 2 and kind of pitch random cards. And then with Max, I was like, fuck it, Amped Up's here too. I can pitch your whole hand. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to control the game.
Joshua B.
Amped Up Joshua B. That's why, it's so good. And
so, Fast Advance, when you're trying to get those agendas into your hand, not anymore. Wayland, when you're trying to get the kill combos into your hand, not anymore. If you ever want to have a hand ever again outside of outside of Cerebral Imaging, don't. Start making decks in which you don't care what's in your hand. Like, you just play what's off the top of your deck and you do whatever. I had the hardest time trying to think of any sort of counter to this deck. I tried throwing everything at it. I tried throwing Glacier at it. It stomped it. I tried throwing Rush and Fast Advance at it. Stomped it.
TPS Viper brought his fucking Nisi Division and RP and PE decks. Anybody who's played TPS Viper on Octagon knows that guy is fucking serious.
Yeah.
And just systematically, the first game I played against him, because I'd never played a PE style net damage deck, like Death by 1,000 Cuts. I kind of went a little slow, but after all of it, Glitch is just like, you could have beat him way sooner than that. I was like, I figured that, but I had to go a little bit slower. And then Viper was just like, no, you owned me the whole time. He was like, I was bluffing absolutely everything. I had no leg to stand on.
It was like you were toying.
Yeah.
Like, you had the game, and you're like, let's see what else I can do. I have this. There's no point in this game in which I am going to ever be losing.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to see what my deck can do. And it's crazy. That was just to put this out there, is all of those decks, those tried, tested, and true decks that are in the meta currently, before Eater, before Want Destruction comes out, is all going to be turned upside down. Like, it's insane. You're going to have to re-look at it. Now, not saying that this is going to be the only deck out there, so you have to stop playing Near Earth Hub or whatever. Those decks are still going to be great, but it's going to bring those win percentages for Near Earth Hub down from whatever those actual 85% win to maybe 55.
And we're not being pretentious in saying that like we've unlocked this deck.
No. I'm just saying Eater plus Want Destruction
is pure gold.
Is just gold. Throw that into any
Eater, Keyhole, Want Destruction. So that's on everybody's radar. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be in Max. It doesn't have to be in anything. That's on everybody's fucking radar. And now you add in. Now let's look at the other cards that are just going to go in every Anarch deck. Steel Skin.
Yes.
Okay. Like we can't go on without talking about Steel Skin. It's a diesel for one influence or for one credit. That if you lose it to net or meat damage, you also still get to draw cards.
Draw those cards.
Who the fuck cares about Plascrete? I am almost ready to just rip my Plascretes up because I'm never ever gonna fucking use them again. That card is insane. We don't have to focus on it because I think everybody realizes it. Have you ever been building a deck and going, hey, you know what? I think Diesel would be really good in here because I could use some draw, but it's 2 influence. That's kind of a lot. That's exactly the same scenario. So it's again just another fucking Anarch card that everybody's going to use.
Yeah, and it's crazy because I'm just thinking back to when I first started to play Netrunner back just before Creation Control. Every time I went to make a deck, and at this point I was playing in Criminal because I was a loser like that. I tried to splash Diesel into my deck just for draw. Mm-hmm. At that point, I was paying those 4 to 6 influence to put 2 to 3 Diesels in my deck. If I had Steel Skin, I would just consider every ID outside of Anarchs to have 6 less influence.
Yeah.
That freaking card is amazing.
It's godlike.
And again, will make PE decks think twice. People who want to play PE because they're like, oh man, I'm just going to disrupt people's hands. You're not anymore.
And that's
people who want to go, okay, I'm going to focus primarily on Wayland kill, on just Scorch kill. You have to rethink it now because Steel Skin is just out there. You don't know who's going to have it because it's 2 influence. Like, it's pricey enough that not every deck is going to be like, I need Steel Skin, but it is low enough that people will just put Steel Skin in your deck.
And we all know the play. It's just like if you're playing against a Wayland player, like if you can't have 5 cards in your hand, at least for goddamn sure make sure you have 4.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And now it's like you said, like you can't just outright kill somebody.
No.
Like, yeah, you could get Junebugged, but nobody fucking really plays Junebug on a serious basis anymore because everybody's just Deus or is SMCing Deus Ex. And it's like, so that kind of shuts that off. You're not going to die from a Cerebral Overrider. Like, there is the small percentage of people who could die to Cerebral Overrider. But, like, a majority of the time, it takes 1 or 2 cards to do it. And I told him, I was like, man, if you fucking invest a Scorched Earth to try to kill me and you don't, like,
it's heartbreaking.
You're done because that's your game plan.
That's your out. Yeah.
It's just there's no more time that you're just like, ha, he made a mistake, I'm gonna beat him now, right? Yeah. When you're playing Anarchs, you're holding 3 Steel Skins in your hand, and you're just like, fuck it, run, do this, take tags, Joshua B, and you're just like, it's just like this never-ending cycle. I don't give a fuck anymore. Like, it's exactly how I want to feel with Anarchs. Granted, tons of shit could happen.
Yeah.
You could very well not have the steel skins.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
it's become a runner bluff now.
Yeah.
Do I have the steel skins in hand? Do I not have the steel? Do you want to test your luck?
And my favorite...
Do you want to waste those 2 Scorched Earths in hopes that I don't have steel skin? Or people have gone on being like, well, what if you don't randomly hit the 1 steel skin in their hand? Let's say you have 1 steel skin in hand.
Yeah.
What if... Sure, that is a fantastic hope you have out there. But what are the odds that in the hitting 4 out of the 5 cards in their hand, that 1 card you're not hitting is that? Like, even it's a 20%.
If that ever happens to me, like, honestly, if I have 5 cards in my hand and you scorch me, and like that's the last card I'm left with, it's like good game. Yeah. And then probably from then on, I'm like, fuck it, I'll just have 4 cards now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like I'll just hold 4 cards, and you're always gonna hit it.
Now, just we're going on about this and how amazing it is. For those people right now watching this video who are like, the end is near, repent. There is ways around it. One of my new favorite corp decks that I love playing, and it's not because it hoses over this deck or anything, I love it. Win or lose, it's fun.
It hoses over every deck, I think.
Nearpad hoses this deck like no tomorrow.
If you want your friends to fucking hate you, play this deck because it's so goddamn good.
It is one of those decks. Now, the guy who originally made this, Tumen, who's on Netrunner DB, thank you for this deck. I love it. It's my style of deck. It's near Earth Hub. You build horizontally, and you're using dedicated response teams and snares and data ravens. It's a tag storm deck that is so punishing and so hard to run against because you don't know where you're supposed to be running, what a good play is. You've played this deck a few times with your tag me style decks. You've done decently. Like, everybody will get to 6 points against you. And it's not demoralizing at all because you're expecting it.
There's like a point in the game that it like just stops, and there's like you just don't have any steam. You can't make all the runs. Like you like, the best thing I think to do is to just come at it aggressively, and it's just like
you tried every angle. You tried just.
I have one idea with my max deck.
Okay.
And I haven't pulled it out yet.
And
I'm not going to say it on camera because I want to beat him once.
That's fine. But like, yeah, it's crazy good. I just wanted to put that out there for anyone who's like, how do you beat this? How do you beat Eater with Wanton Destruction, with Singularity, with Keyhole, with Account Siphon? It's out there.
I think
it's just the ways that you're looking at your corp decks currently. You're gonna have to scrap the way that you play. You're gonna have to rethink the way you play as soon as you see.
No, I think you're saying it wrong. So what I think is there was a giant. Everybody understands that the corps are better than the runners.
Yeah.
Right? And
it's flipped back
for a long time. Anarchs were the least popular faction.
Terrible. I'll go to say they were just terrible.
I don't think they were terrible, but competitively, I still like them. I still play them in tournaments. But
they were.
At the end of the day, Lucas flat out said, he's like, the other 2 big boxes, they got stuff to give them options, right? So Shaper, Criminal got options, Genteki got options. You're right. I personally don't think Genteki got any better. I know that it wasn't on any radar, but I'll go on record, and you can ask anybody I play. I won just as much with my old Genteki as I do with my new Genteki.
Yeah.
Obviously, Future Perfect is fucking insane, and it helps every Genteki deck.
Yeah.
But I won a lot. And I don't feel like I needed it. This Anarch deck, and Lucas said flat out, he's like, Anarchs are getting bombs. They are getting fucking animal cards to make them competitive. Now, whether or not
he did not lie.
Whether or not he's trying to make it so the new shift is that the runners are better than the corpse again, or this was their way to level it off. But I could tell you, it's an uphill battle. We've talked about PE, and there's another card that we haven't really touched on, and it's Amped Up. If you want fucking extra cards and you're playing PE, if you ever run into that thing where they have like 5 or 6 servers and you're like, I don't know what the hell to do anymore, I'm just gonna, I don't know.
I know
run his
I
hand.
have.
So with like my max deck, I just account siphon them down to almost nothing because they run at almost nothing, and then you just like amped up, and then run every server. When I did that to TPS Viper, he went like white in the face.
Yeah,
because he had no idea what to do.
Because you're not expecting it. Like it's true. Like I've sat across the table from enough PE. I sat across like Dean playing it. I've lost. I've sat across from Corpsemorn from Bad Publicity playing it, and I have lost. As soon as they get those 4 or 5 servers down, you sit there and you just, as a runner, you almost panic. You're just like, what do I do at this point, right?
Yeah.
That amped helps it.
Yeah, you're just like, okay, well, you have next to no money.
Steel Skin helps it. You just run. You go crazy.
Yeah.
You do what Anarchs are supposed to do. Thematically, Anarchs are just going to just throw caution to the wind, and they go balls to the wall and get in there. Before Order and Chaos, they couldn't quite do that. After Order and Chaos, there's no stopping them from doing any of this.
All of those cards that like what they wanted to go to your fucking house and burn your house down, all those cards that seemed very thematic that just weren't used are all online now.
Now, I've gone over what I loved, most of what I loved in the Wayland portion. You've gone over most of what you loved in the Anarch portion. What did you really like in the Wayland portion?
Wayland portion, I really liked the galactic ice or whatever, the constellation, the ice.
Someone's gonna tell. I like galactic.
Galactic seems.
That sounds seems more. It's it reminds me of Galactus.
But they are constellations, right? So
they are. Well, they're not constellations. Actually.
Fuck it, it's our show. Galactic ice.
The galactic ice. Let's pen this right now. TM.
Right on the lens or something. That's right. You guys will fucking see it.
We're gonna have T-shirts. Galactic ice, bitch. Taking this back.
So I really like the idea of those because
Hugs and kisses, black hats. You gotta. If you're gonna go aggressive and call everyone a bitch on your T-shirt, you gotta at least say hugs and kisses on the back though, so no one can see it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you like the galactic ice.
I feel like they are all very unique. Yeah. So there were the Morph Ice. I was really excited about the Morph Ice when it came out. Man. I was like, they shift and they fucking change, and this is everything I love about Netrunner. I love molding myself as I play and cards that have multiple options and stuff like this. And then I was like, and then they came out and I was like, they kind of just don't do what I want them to do.
When to go see some play? I thought Changeling was going to see more play than it does.
I'm not going to sit here and say that they're good or bad because I haven't played them. At the end of the day, I like the idea of them, but I think that they weren't executed to the point that I want to try them anymore.
No. I want to see more. I want to see more of it. I hope that they didn't just stop with the 3 that they have. Yeah. That they bring out some more, especially now that we have some stuff that you can put advancement tokens on things on the fly, like the agenda firmware updates. You can do with there's stuff like Builder where you can put agenda counters on things too. I hope it's not a dead idea. I hope it wasn't just these 3 and we're done. Yeah, it's such a cool idea.
We haven't seen them in tandem with the Galactic Ice yet either, so
that's true.
Maybe that's where they're fully unlocked.
Yeah. Anyway,
but I had never, even in my wildest dreams, thought of that subroutine that Wormhole has. So when I saw that, I literally was like, "Oh my god, that's like the coolest thing ever." Like
Wormhole's ability, it's a code gate. It's a strength 7 code gate, which is crazy. And it's
for all of you who don't know, we haven't said it. You can't yug this thing. Okay?
There's no yugging.
It's unyuggable.
It's unyuggable. Its subroutine is to copy the subroutine of another res dice. Like.
and then if that wasn't fucking cool enough, the God Ice version of it has 3 subroutines, and it has that fucking subroutine in it. I'm like, oh my god!
Orion, which is expensive to res, but well worth it. Has 3 subroutines. 1, end the run. Great. 2, trash a program. Fantastic. 3, copy anything else. Copy whatever you want.
You need another program trash? Copy program
trash. You want 2 net damage? Copy 2 net damage. You want a 3rd end the... You want whatever... You want to gain 2 more credits because they don't want to run into your archer anymore and you need the archer credits?
Yeah.
Sure. Do it.
It's insane.
Nuts. Like, just crazy good.
And then, like, so those 2 are amazing, and then I know it's kind of fucking boring, but the end the run with those cards is insane.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there is, like, almost no goddamn reason. Like, you don't need fucking economy. You need that, it's shipment from Miramorph, I think, is no. Shipment from Cayuga is Waylands.
Tokens?
Yeah. Like, fucking, now that's an economy card, basically.
Yeah.
You just, like, install, shipment, and then all your ice res is for, like, 3.
Nothing.
And then you got, like, these monster fucking ice. And I don't know. I think Orion is hands down the best of the, like, I call them, like, the god, because, I mean, we have Susan for Gentaki, and then, Odin for, or it's not Odin, it's, Wotan.
Wotan.
Wotan, whatever. I'm sure I'm pissing off somebody.
I don't know how you pronounce it.
Yeah, we'll get Wikipedia articles somewhere.
By the way,
know
Wotan is.
I want to touch on it right
name,
now.
I wish it was Odin.
I know. So anybody who watched our video where I called Astrolabe a fucking like a space vagina. I just want to go on the record saying that I know it's not a space vagina. that was a joke. I don't need Wikipedia articles about what an actual fucking... If I wanted to know, I could have looked it up myself, and I don't ever assume.
I think I asked the question.
You were like, "What is it?"
National.
Yeah, but we were.
I think that's what they're referring to.
Yeah, but we could look it up.
Yeah.
Oh, did you ask them for it? Oh,
I think I might have. I can't remember.
I took it as you're an idiot, Sly.
I can't remember.
It's obviously not a.
I don't remember saying it, but when we started to get the replies saying what an astrolabe is, I'm like, oh yeah, I must have asked what it was because I played it, and I'm like, why doesn't it just? So I was like, why is it just astrolab? What's a lab? And then you're like, I don't know, is it like a space vagina?
Is it short form for a labia?
A labia? Yeah. He knows he knows lady bits from Netrunner cards.
Yeah. I've seen lady parts.
He's seen lady parts once or twice.
On the internet.
So anyway, do you have any more favored Wayland cards? Things that you expected more out of, things you just don't want to play against?
I think the board is cool. I'm lame. I like all the cards that are kind of under the radar right now. Yeah. Nobody's really talking about Wormhole, but Wormhole's my favorite card. It's just because Yagura's my favorite ice. So now I can have a super high version of Yagura doing I don't even know, it's so good. How does it work with Bullfrog? Does Bullfrog move? Does it move?
I've been confused over that too. Yeah.
See, maybe
someone can say this.
It's limitless. You can do anything.
I think that the ice that it's copying is the ice that gets affected. Because I've read somewhere that if you copy Victor 2.0's ability to give it a token, the Victor 2.0 is the thing that gets the token on it, not the Wormhole.
It also makes Neural Katana so good because
double neural.
No, it's a strength 7 code gate that does 3 damage.
Yep.
Who the fuck is gonna expect that?
No one.
It's nuts.
It's great. It's absolutely great.
And then it's not like you can't set up that play because you have boot camp in your fucking faction already.
Yep.
So you're just okay, so I rest my Wormhole, now I'll boot camp all the subroutines that I want up, and then you're gonna have a fucking aneurysm when you're okay, what the hell do I do against this stupid ice now that he rests for nothing?
Yep.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I like all the agendas. The firmware updates I thought was the stupidest one at first, until you were all dude, advancements, expand advancements. And I was like, okay, I get it. It's good.
You get a 4th advancement token on it, and then you mark Yale to gain 12 off of it.
Oh,
crazy good.
I've heard this math like 19 times now.
Yeah. Now, I'm surprised you didn't bring it up because you and the guys from Sansan South were talking about it. Glen Station. What do you think of Glen Station?
Glen Station is the one that holds them?
Yeah.
I like Glen Station because I like the idea of fast tracking the 9 for 6.
The government takeover?
Yeah, and then just having it, and then having like a deck that, I haven't done the math in my head, but like 3 Atlas, 3 Glen Stations, and then that one, and then kind of like filler cards, maybe posted bounties or fucking hostile takeovers. You know what I mean?
Takeover's fine.
Hostile takeover's fine. But yeah, you're just like, score Glen Station, fast track that out. Now my deck has like no agendas in it.
Yeah, there's 0 agendas in this thing now.
Screw you. The other card I should say
at that point, because if that's the first agenda you've scored and you do that, I believe you then have what left? 7 agendas left in your...
Yeah, because you've already taken out 8.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's yeah. I didn't even think about it until I was listening to you guys on Sansan 7.
Oh, actually, that's my favorite card. I forgot about it. It's the 9 for 6 because I love all that fucking janky stuff. I keep telling them about it. Like, you need to put it in your deck because you can like fast track it, put it out, and just start advancing it.
Yeah.
And they know it's that, and then you
accidentally drop a punitive
card. You shuffle your hand and drop the punitive, and you're like, oops, oh no,
yeah.
And then they're like, fuck you, Steve.
As soon as that came out, I was like, 9 for 6, and you're like, punitive.
Like, I'm surprised you didn't think of it because you are like always the guy that's like punitive. Hey, I made a like RP deck that's only got 5 for 3s and it's good at punitive.
Yeah.
Like, and then they come out with a 9 for 6 and you're like, what do I do with this? I don't like it. It's too much. What if they score it?
Yeah, that's fair. So getting into, I'll talk about some of my favorite Anarch stuff. I mean, there's the obvious really good stuff, the stuff that you're using, but that's the stuff that I hate because I'm going to have to play against it over and over and over and over again. One of my favorite new Anarch cards is just Showing Off.
I love that card.
Oh man, is that card cool. For those of you who don't know, it says you make a run on R&D, and instead of accessing the top cards, you access the bottom cards of R&D. Oh man, is that cool.
Have you ever been able to do like 4 medium runs in a turn and you're just like...
You come up empty-handed.
So you're like...
How about you go 3 medium runs off the top and you're like, oh, let's go off the bottom with this last one.
Yeah.
Like...
Have you ever thought to yourself that Daily Business Show might be overpowered? Play Showing Off. Guaranteed there's at least 4 agendas at the bottom of the deck.
You ran into that. I did that to you the one day. I just threw all my agendas at the bottom while I was setting up. And you're like, where's all these agendas? And I was like, hee hee hee. If you had a Showing Off, I would have been like, God damn it.
Yeah, insta win. Like, it's like a hyper fucking like Maker's Eye almost.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Except you're finding exactly what they wanted to hide.
Yeah, I loved Showing Off. As soon as I saw that, I was like, it's just so thematic. Like, it's just, hey, check this out. Hey, I just learned this new trick. Check this out. And you're an Anarch, and you break into a corporation server so you can show off to a chick.
Yeah, that's exactly what you do.
Seriously, like if
I was a super hacker,
and single, I'd be like, hey baby, come to my place and check out my rig. And after she was like, that's super creepy of you to say, and she came over anyway because I'm super.
For all you that doesn't know, rig means his dick. He named his dick Rig.
I did, big rig. So yeah, like you'd be like, hey, check this out. And she'd be like, whoa, is that the Wayland servers? I'm like, yeah, they won't even care because this is all I'm doing. And then you just, like, it's so cool. It's just so cool. Another favorite card, not just because the ability is really cool, but the art is probably my favorite art in the game right now that I can think of. Day Job.
I was trying to throw it back to Day Job.
Single person has had that job where on the art it is Max, I believe.
Yeah.
She's just sitting back going,
yeah.
Everybody's had that. Everybody's had that moment at some job in their life, and you could have probably done it at work come home, watch this video, and you're like, yeah, Glitch, you know where it's at. Everybody has done this. Probably my favorite art.
I think I did it today. I was so bored, and I was like,
yeah. Like, it's just, it's beautiful.
Art aside, let's talk about how fucking awesome that card is.
That card is just great.
So
you spend your entire turn to gain 10 credits.
How many credits do you get if you spend your entire turn, I don't know, Artimage Code Busting?
8.
No, because you have to install the Artimage Code Busting.
Oh, yes.
So you actually don't get you gain the 2 credits. So you're actually -1 credit. Then you pay 2 clicks to just go up to basically average, right? Yep. And then every other click after that is just $2, right? Still an amazing card. Not trying to take anything away from that. Mopus is the same way. I mean, obviously in a sustained scenario, they're going to gain you a shit ton of money. But now we're talking about 1 turn, gain 8 credits.
It is an event that costs 2. You have to then spend 3 additional clicks to play it, and you just gain 10 credits.
I can't think of one of my new favorite things other than just like, a lot of people are like, yeah, I really wish I could a sure gamble in my opening hand. I'm like, fuck it. I want a day job opening hand, and I want to see my opponent shit bricks. Because when I did that the first time, you're like, you looked at my credits and you're like, and you like drew. You had this like face like, he's got how many credits?
Well, because and you really think about it, because it again turns the corp play upside down, because the corp is so used to going ice, hedge fund, go, and that's your opening turn every time because you need to protect yourself. To then have the runner go, okay, I'll start my turn and spend the entire turn to gain money. You're like, I could have done so much more with my first turn. I could have just thrown an agenda down.
That's hilarious.
Seriously, the first time you did that, I was like, shit, I could have just put an atlas on the table and you wouldn't have even run it. You just spent your entire turn game. Like, I'm like...
Oh, yeah, that's right. I would have, too.
Yeah, because your entire plan was just going, I'm just going to gain 8 credits right now.
So now that's first turn. One of my favorite things to do with like cards like Liberated Accounts and Artimage Code Busting, because those are cards that I actually use.
Yep.
One of my favorite things is to just like install them, not necessarily to gain the credits, just to have them there. And then on the turns that the corp doesn't give me anything to react to, because a lot of my decks that I play a very like control-y kind of reactive style. So it's like, if he does this, then I'm going to do this, this, and this. Or if he does this, then I'll do this. My favorite thing to do is like just hold Liberated Accounts in my hand, and then when he's just like, okay, well, I'll just install an ice and then gain 2 credits. I'm like, okay, well, I'll gain like 15 credits because I just install Liberated Account, clicked it 3 times, and then next turn I'm going to Aesops it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that required a lot of fucking cards. You know what I mean?
And a lot of setup.
And a lot of setup and all this stuff. I just hold fucking day jobs in my hand, and I'm like, okay, oh, you just did bullshit? I'll gain 8 credits.
Yeah.
Go. And then like, you can't, as a court player, you can't keep doing that. You need to start advancing the state of the game in order for me not to just consistently gain this money. Yep. Right? Granted, you can't just keep doing it, but I mean, I'm only going to hold them in my hand for the opportune time that you don't do anything to fucking make me react to you. If you install an agenda and advance it, I'm probably not going to day job that turn. I mean, I could have amped up and day job and then make the run or whatever. Like another huge thing.
Yep.
I don't know. I'm so happy. I'm happy.
It's the cards are all great. Those are my 2. Like when I first looked at the spoilers, I was looking at everything and going, wow, okay, Steel Skin, great. Eater, great. And like I came across Showing Off and I laughed. I honestly, like, every other card you look at and you're like, that's great, that's great, that's great. And to have that moment where you read a card and all you do is laugh. Yeah. Because you're like, that is going to be so fucking funny to do in a game where they're looking at, like, you just ran through an Architect. And they went, okay, I'm going to look at the top 5 cards. And they're going to like, oh, wow, they're not getting anything off the top here. Off of their next medium run or whatever, and then you go Showing Off to the bottom, and they're like, shit, I don't know what the hell's there. Yeah. Or, shit, I just put a whole bunch of stuff there because of Daily Business Show.
Jackson.
Yeah. There's another Force Jackson right there. Like,
it's so dirty.
It's just, it's so funny. And then, of course, to see something like Day Job, and like the full card was spoiled, I think, directly after the tech spoilers came out. To see the art on that, I was like, this is beautiful.
I think
this is a masterwork of a card collaboration coming together and just working so beautifully, not only because the card is called Day Job, not only because it is Max and she is the like ultimate punk rocker and would hate conformity, and you can see she's in like the blouse, she's in the friggin' tie.
And I'm totally into Suicide Girl, so as soon as I saw her, I was like, oh my god.
And the fact that it is in Anarch, it's just everything came together so perfectly and so beautifully that I cannot help but love that card.
I think I love the idea of Max because for a very long time, I mean, even when I was in Bad Publicity, we were all...
the deuce!
That's what I'm saying!
Give it the deuce! It's just...
My last show that I was in, we were like trying to make it PG because we figured like, oh, well, Fantasy Flight's not going to want us to hear swear words, or we're going to make it for kids and all that bullshit. And then like, I started this show and I was like, ah, fuck it, I'm going to talk the way I talk, like normally. And then...
Parental advisory warning.
Yeah, over all of our stuff, yeah. I'm going to tattoo
we'll make a PG version of this. We're just going to bleep half of the one long beep.
And, but, yeah, she's literally telling you to fuck off. And then in the card art, she says, fuck you, motherfucker. Or, like, the flavor text. I'm just like, oh my god, this is amazing.
Somebody Fantasy Flight.
She's a hot girl with tattoos, and she's Anarch, and oh my god, it's like it's like somebody logged on to my fucking YouTube account and went, whoa, Jace really likes this jazz, you know what I mean? And then it's like, we'll just make this Anarch card.
Yeah. We can go on all day long about all of these cards for the most part.
I'd say we shouldn't do more than 3.5 minutes because we're already up to an hour now.
Well, you know what? Let's cut it off just before the hour mark. Let's cut it right now so we can say that, don't worry, it's under an hour.
It's under an hour
of playtime.
Everybody, we hope you enjoyed our weird-ass fucking review, and I hope you enjoy. Share your decks. We would love to see what your favorite card is.
Post in the comments below. Tell us what your favorite cards is. And don't just kiss his ass because he's a pseudo-celebrity and you're hoping that he'll like invite you out for a beer or something like that.
I am a full celebrity!
Because this guy is awesome to me, but he's a fuck. I'm kidding. But,
shut up, Steve! So, before we hit the hour, don't forget to like and subscribe. We still have our video up that's actually giving away our, the beautiful... Broken Egg game tokens.
Look at the date on this video before like 2 years from now. You're like, I want these tokens, and you're like, oh, these Black Hats guys.
I'll probably pull that video down anyway. So yeah, look at the date. We have a token giveaway. We want you to go check that out. So go on our page. It's the I don't know, A&R Black Hats contest or whatever. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment on that video, and you are submitted to have the chance to randomly win a full set of Broken Egg game tokens. And one quick thing too is we do Deck of the Week every week. We're doing a change to it where we want you to submit the decks that you want to see us play. I am not gonna lie. I am severely surprised that we actually had a clear hour of recording. Are we done? We done? Welcome back.
Yeah.
We gotta love an hour.
Yeah.
Quickly, we're gonna throw it out before they go again. Yeah. Leave the comment of the deck that you want to see us play. We love when you guys vote, so please vote for the other decks that you want to see played. Like, even if it's the deck that you want to see your deck play against, that would be a fun way. Because if there's not enough votes and it's all ties, then we just randomly roll off, and that's not fun for us. We want to make it a conversation.
User submitted thing. We want the users to have an input on this.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you could join me.
Yeah,
it's been a fantastic.
It's been swell.
Yeah, I think we might play some games.
I doubt it. I fucking hate this game.
Maybe even do like a deck of the week.
Maybe do a deck of the week.
Bye, everyone.
Yeah.